What's up, warriors? Welcome back to another episode of the Suburban Warrior podcast. I'm your host, Crissy Pyfer, back this week with another amazing guest here to share her expertise with you. And I'm really excited about our guest because we're going to be talking today about a topic that is very near and dear to my heart, which is nutrition and nutrition science and how it really affects our health. And especially for women in midlife, we are going to get into all of the details about what we can be doing, just from what we put in our bodies from a food perspective to really help us with inflammation, with bloating, with our skin, and how nutrition it really affects us. And I have the expert here today to talk about that. So let me introduce to you Cherie Calbom. She is celebrated worldwide as the Juice Lady and is a trailblazer in whole food nutrition and the juicing revolution. With a Master of Science degree in nutrition and a passion for transforming health through fresh, vibrant foods, she has authored 36 books that have collectively sold over 3.5 million copies. Her global bestseller, Juicing for Life alone, has empowered 2 million readers to reclaim vitality. Her latest work, The Truth About Seed Oils, exposes how the heart-healthy myth made us sick and how to heal with real fats. From serving as George Foreman's nutritionist to advising the royal family of the UAE, Cherie's influence spans continents and cultures. Her passion for wellness is deeply personal. After losing her mother to breast cancer at the age of 6, she devoted her life to empowering others to prevent disease and reclaim their health through nourishing whole foods. A dynamic voice in wellness, Cherie has been featured on Fox News, NBC, CBS, ABC, CNN, CBN, TBN, and it's Supernatural, inspiring millions with her message. Health is not just a goal, it's a lifestyle. So welcome to the Suburban Warrior podcast, Cherie.
Thank you. It's so great to be on your show, and I am very excited to talk about this subject because women have no idea how good they can feel till they start making some dietary changes. A lot of those stubborn things, that are pesky, bothersome, go away.
Yeah. Well, I love that you said that because I honestly had no idea. I mean, I'm a nurse. I worked in pharma. I thought that I medically was trained. I knew how to be healthy. I thought I was feeding my family healthy foods. I had no idea about all of the hidden dangers that are in our food, that it's in our food system, that's in our soil. I mean, it really has been the last, I would say, 6 years when I was on my own health journey and trying to heal myself that I just learned so much about nutrition and so much about what we put in our bodies. And by healing myself from chronic health conditions that I struggled with my whole life, I believe in the miracles. And I know for sure that nutrition is medicine. It is the first and foremost medicine that we put in our bodies. And once we understand that, and once we can heal our gut and we can decrease inflammation, everything in our bodies start to change. So I agree with you that, as women, we are just undereducated about how important nutrition is to not to our survival, really, and our families as well, because as women we are really the caretakers that are feeding our families. So this episode I think is so important. What we're going to talk about, it seems so simple, but it's really not. It's really just the number one thing that we should know about. So let's talk about, so obviously you got into juicing and nutrition because of your mom at a young age. She died of breast cancer. But what specifically got you into juicing and realizing that was such a wonderful way to get nutrients into the body?
I was sick. So in my
Oh,
20s, I had chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, and it was bad. I
okay.
had to quit work and move back home. And I joke about it, sleep 12 hours a day practically, and wake up tired and no energy. And I felt like I had the flu all the time, had a low-grade fever constantly. My glands were swollen. I ached all over.
Ah,
I was miserable. And in my 20s, and my whole life was ahead. And doctors didn't know what to do about it, and they still don't.
yeah,
With those conditions, they manage it with drugs, and people don't get better. People that come to me are not better. They're desperate.
of
And
course.
desperate, yes. And so, like you, I went searching for answers and found nutrition. from people at the health food store said, your diet's all wrong. I love junk food and fast food. I hated vegetables. I was a sugaraholic. No wonder I was
Yeah.
sick. So I learned about juicing. I learned about diet changes. And I bought my first juicer and went on a 5-day juice fast. And on the 5th day, my body expelled a tumor this size, the size of a golf ball. It
What do
had
you mean it expelled a tumor?
came
How
out
does
of
that
my
happen?
it had to be have been in my colon. And so
Wow.
when you don't eat much, when you're doing a juice fast, by day 5 things are pretty clear and you can see exactly what you're eliminating. This tumor
Wow.
had blue blood vessels attached to it that looked like somebody cut them. Well, something had. It was, I call them God scissors or nature's scissors. Luteolin, apigenin, fisetin are examples of some of them that are phytonutrients that cut off angiogenesis, and that is the blood supply to tumors that feed it. That's the process. I learned that when I went back to get my master's in whole foods nutrition, and my thesis was nutrition and cancer. I learned all about that.
Wow.
Then I knew nothing. And I was so shocked to see that, wow, this is the most amazing cure on earth. I thought I'd wake up just totally well the next day. That's kind of Western thinking. You do this and this, and you get rid of this,
Yeah,
you just go on with your life, right? I did not
exactly.
wake up well the next day. I was on a journey. So that's why I say it's a lifestyle, it's a journey, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. We're in it for the long haul. We're in it at the cellular level to turn things over in a good direction. And that's what my body was doing. It was cleansing, detoxing, rejuvenating, getting rid of dead cells and injured cells, and on it goes. And that's a process. And so good days and not so good days, and a step forward and a step back, it seemed. But one day, 3 months later, of eating food now, I kept juicing, but I added in plant-based foods. I'm not plant-based totally now, but I added in just plant-based foods and juicing and smoothies. And in 3 months, one morning I woke up and thought, I got a new body last night. I felt fabulous. And I thought, wow, that was the best cure on earth. And I'm going back to Southern California with my friends and back to my old lifestyle. And I started eating my old foods with them,
Yeah.
going out, burgers and fries and pizza and, all that junk.
Yeah.
And my symptoms started coming back. And that's when all the light bulbs went on. And I said to myself, oh no, this has got to be a way of life. And I've got to change my way of thinking. But it's going to be worth it because I don't ever want to feel like that again. And that's the
Yeah.
message I want to communicate. You can feel fabulous. And it has a lot to do with what you put in your mouth.
Absolutely. And so I think you bring up an important point, an important topic of this journey for you, because you went through the juicing and the plant-based diet, and like you said, you did it for, I think you said 3 months or maybe even more, and you started to feel better and you had this new body, and then you go back to the sort of old habits and start to feel like crap again. And sometimes I feel like it's not until you go back to the old habits and it comes back that the light bulb goes on,
Yes.
right? That you say, okay, wait a second, now I know that's what is causing this. And that's when you realize the real change has to happen, and it has to be a lifestyle change. But I do think some people think like, oh, I can do the 3-day juice cleanse and then move on, or I can detox and then I can move on, and that's not how our bodies work. It really has to be a lifestyle change, and then you can, I think, start adding things back little by little and treating yourself here and there. It's not like elimination, you can never have anything, but you have to realize that the bulk of your diet has to come from whole foods nutrition, right?
Absolutely. And then the cleaner your body gets, the healthier it gets, the more it talks to
Yes.
you. And
Right.
the more it tells you, I didn't like that. So
Right.
you might wake up with, I call them food hangovers. You just feel crummy in the morning, or a headache, or you start aching, you've got aches and pains or brain fog. Well, what did you eat, right? You have to look at that. And that's when we start eliminating and knowing these foods are off my list. I just can't have them. And these are the ones that give me life, that I feel
Yeah.
good when I eat these. And in the end, is it worth it to eat stuff that makes us feel crummy? It's fun. It's a few minutes of fun, or
Right.
maybe it's an hour of, out to dinner, and sure, it's fun and our taste buds love it. But what price do we pay after that? Hours and hours and hours, maybe days of feeling crummy. And that's when I had to come to the point. It's just not worth it. I mean, that for a few minutes or an hour of pleasure and then days of feeling crummy, that wasn't worth it at all.
Yeah. So let's talk about juicing specifically because I think it's just such a interesting topic, especially in the world of nutrition, because I think you hear a lot of different sides about to juice or not to juice, really. So tell me why you think juicing is such a great way to get nutrients in versus maybe just a plant-based diet.
Because you can do so much more. It's concentrated, right? So a
Okay.
glass of juice usually has a variety of vegetables and maybe a little fruit. The 80-20 rule is really good. 80% veggies and 20% fruit. So you
Okay.
don't get too much sugar. And so you've got a whole variety in there. Like a typical juice for me would be cucumber, which gives you a lot of juice, and some greens, maybe collard or kale or chard or spinach, parsley, maybe half an apple, ginger, maybe some lemon. You might put a carrot in there. Well, how many of us are going to eat all that?
Right.
Probably not too many of us.
No, no.
But here in a glass, you've got it all. You've got vitamins, minerals, enzymes, phytonutrients, biophotons, antioxidants, phytonutrients. Wow, it's just brimming with nutrition and lots of extras, and maybe some vegetables you would never eat. You would not touch that vegetable in a million years, but you can put it in your juice and you don't even know it's there because you've got a nice base. Maybe you've got a carrot apple base, which tastes really yummy. And maybe you've added a little ginger. That's the ginger hopper, a little spice in there. You've got the ginger for anti-inflammatory and zinc. And you've got all your greens for your minerals. And you've got vitamin C, maybe from parsley or your lemon. Well, on it goes. You've got a cornucopia of nutrients in there that you probably wouldn't get any other way. Plus, here's the other deal. It's broken down so well. It's like a pre-digested food. So the insoluble fiber that the juicer is ejecting is a thing that lots of times is the con, the pros and the cons. And they say,
Right.
well, you've lost all your fiber and you
Yeah.
don't want that because you don't have any fiber left. Well, that's not true. You have soluble fiber, which is great for the intestinal tract. It's just the insoluble got ejected. But nobody complains that your vitamin mineral capsule doesn't have any fiber. And this is like that with so much more.
Yeah.
Nobody ever complains that that glass of wine that people have before dinner doesn't have any fiber, but they complain about the juice. What
Right.
is that? And the juice is giving you so much more. So I say go for it. Make it an addition to your diet, a supplement to your diet, unless you're doing a juice cleanse. And everybody needs a break from time to time. Take a few days, just drink juices and maybe a smoothie and give your body a chance to just cleanse and rest and rejuvenate. And, when you're not eating all the time, too, that takes a lot of energy. Your digestion is at work all day long. If we eat 3 meals, it's working all day long. It doesn't
Yeah.
have much chance during the day to take out the trash, so to speak, clean up dead cells, get rid of toxins, get rid of, junk stored in tissue spaces, go after cancer cells. We've all got them, they say.
Yeah.
We've all got a few. Well, when you are juice fasting, you're not focused on digestion all day long. Now your body can go after all of those things and start cleaning up your body, cleaning up those dead cells. So it's a wonderful rejuvenation day or 2 or 3 that you might want to take to do that. But other than that, make juice the supplement to your diet. It is so energizing, rejuvenating, because your cells can take it in. It's estimated within about 30 minutes it's at work in your system. Better than anything else you could do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, 30 minutes and right into the cell is pretty impressive. So, I was going to ask you length of time you recommend to do a juice cleanse, but you said really 1, 2, or 3 days to do it. And when you do a juice cleanse, do you recommend like you are just straight up juicing
Yes.
for 3 days? And then how often would you recommend doing that kind of juice cleanse? Like a couple times a year, once a year, as much as you want, as little as you want. Do you have a recommendation?
Quarterly is really nice,
Yeah.
especially doing some kind of cleanse with the season changes. That's when people tend to get sick most, as the weather changes, more pollens in the air, things like that. We tend to be more vulnerable at change of season time. So that's a great time, but any time is a good time. Right in
Yeah.
that dead hot heat of summer is a great time, especially when it's hot. It's much easier. We're not as hungry. We want to eat lighter. We're thirsty. We want something cool. A great time to drink a bunch of juices. And here's another little tip. You can freeze juices. Get a nice ice
Oh,
cube tray, or they've got the big square ones now where you can get the big, nice, chunky cubes. Well, pour in juice. And there is something, a little treat, like cantaloupe juice is refreshing. It's great for the digestive system. It is excellent. If you suffer from acid reflux, also known as GERD,
yeah.
cantaloupe juice is extremely helpful to calm down and heal the esophagus and calm down those symptoms. And sucking on a cube of cantaloupe juice really does do the trick. My husband's been through a bout of that, and we've been freezing a lot of cantaloupe juice. And I'll tell you, after a meal, he got something in there and was like, oh my, I shouldn't have had that. Well,
Yeah.
here we go. But one of those cubes or frozen cantaloupe, oh my gosh, does that help? So I encourage everybody. And watermelon juice, very, very hydrating. Any a berry juice, any of them you can freeze and have a little treat on your juice fast, or just any day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great idea. Have like a little popsicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect. So question for you about juicing versus smoothie, because to be honest with you, I love juice. I don't juice at home because I don't have a juicer, but like I will, sometimes buy the fresh juice at like local little markets that have it. But I do smoothies, and I think the reason I haven't gotten the juicer, because I do love juices, is what you brought up about the fiber. Because I'm like, well, I really try to get a lot of fiber in my diet. So I really appreciated your point about the soluble versus insoluble fiber, because I think that's a very valid point. But talk to me a little bit about what you think the real difference is between juicing and smoothies. And is one better than the other?
I see a place for both. I do
Okay.
both, but my smoothies are different than most people. I
Okay.
don't just throw a whole bunch of greens in there and buy a
Right.
whole bunch of fruit and blend it up. I juice first and pour that in my blender and add an avocado. And
Oh,
that is my
okay.
smoothie. But
Okay.
what I say about smoothies, you can't blend up nearly what you can juice. You can juice a whole lot more than you can blend. And plus, there are some professionals who feel the fiber does slow down the absorption of the nutrients. We're not getting as much, but there's a
Makes
place
sense.
for both of them. And so
Yeah.
if you're having a high fiber diet anyway, the juice is just a fabulous supplement, and it's getting right into your system. And I always say to people, give it a try, because you just won't know how good you can feel until you give juicing a try. And my other motto is one glass of juice a day can change your life, because it has for
Yeah.
so many people I've worked with.
It's amazing. So, do you have a specific juicer that you like or that you recommend?
I do. It's the best one on earth, and you've got to get it. And you've
Okay.
got to
All
get it
right.
with my code, Juice Lady, because you get a big discount. So the Nama J2 is a cold pressed, but it's faster than most cold press, and so it turns and presses out the juice. But you put all of your produce in the upper chamber, and
Oh,
then turn it on and walk away. do anything you want. Clean up your kitchen, make food, whatever you want to do. It juices for you. So it's spinning around. It's feeding it into the lower chamber. That's spinning around and it's doing all the work for you. And then when it's done, you just open the spout and pour your juice. It's so easy to clean. It's about 1 minute. And with my code Juice Lady, you get the biggest discount. So you get $60 off and free shipping. So use code Juice Lady, all one word, and Nama or Namawell is the site, or you can go to my site, either one, juiceladyinfo.com, and it'll take you to it. And then just enter the code Juice Lady, and you get a big discount and the free shipping. Yes, and you will love it. It is the best one I've ever used, and I've used about everything that's ever been made. It's clean.
It's awesome.
Does great juice. It tastes great. It's fast, and it juices for you.
You know, I think this is a sign from the universe that it is time for me to be juicing, because I just recently got back from like a 2-week trip in Africa with my family. And, you know, we stayed at these wonderful places that every morning I had some type of either green juice or carrot ginger juice, or I had a ton of watermelon juice. And I just thought to myself, I want to be able to have, the watermelon juice was just so refreshing and so delicious, you know, and it's just so simple. It's just watermelon. But, you know, when I even tried to put the watermelon in a blender in the past, like it just doesn't juice it.
No.
Like, you know, like a juicer would. So I said to myself, I really need to start juicing. So I think this timing of this podcast is just perfect, because I really want to start, because I do love fresh juice.
Oh, yes, and it's so good for you. And there is nothing like juice. Yes, you can't do in the blender what you can do in the juicer, but vice versa. They go together. Have both.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So is juicing, you know, different for women that are like in perimenopause and menopause, like for women in midlife, like we're experiencing, you know, symptoms like a lot of inflammation, energy issues, digestion issues, hormone imbalances. You know, talk to me specifically about what your thoughts are about women in midlife using juice.
Excellent. And I highly recommend it, but keep your fruit low. You don't want too much sugar, especially now at this point in your life. You want more vegetables, more greens, anti-inflammatories like ginger and turmeric, small amount of fruit, like maybe half a green apple is your lower sugar fruit, or berries. Cantaloupe is lower in sugar as well. But keep your sugars low. Keep your anti-inflammatories high, like the ginger and turmeric, and your minerals high. I know people who've gone through menopause and never had a symptom. Not a hot flash, not an anything, no night sweats, nothing. So it can be done. I know it can. I know you can get rid of those nasty symptoms. But here's something else I want to talk about, and this is my new book, The Truth About Seed Oils. You want to get these guys out of your diet, because these are hormone disruptors and definitely contribute to menopause symptoms. So what are the seed oils? I know probably a lot of people listening have heard about them. It's a hot topic right now, being discussed a lot on social media. They are corn, soy, canola, safflower, sunflower, grapeseed oil, rice bran oil, peanut oil, and cottonseed oil. Those are the polyunsaturated fatty acids that are very mistreated in production. They're industrial oils. They were never about health. When they came on the market at the turn of the century before last, it was about waste management, convenience, and money. We had cotton seeds piling up all across the areas where they're grown, and cotton was a big crop and really thriving. And they were saying, what do we do with these rotting seeds? Well, let's make oil out of them. Well, it turned out dark and smelly, and they used it to lubricate machinery. Now we're eating that. So then they said, we need something else to do with it. So let's refine it even more, make it clear or golden and with no odor and, no taste, no smell. Well, that took a ton of refining. So it took very high heat, like 500 degrees, and lots of chemicals like hexane, which is very, very toxic, and deodorizers, degummers, bleach agents, and on it goes. And it finally rolls out into an oil that looks decent and is shelf stable. Is that good for us? There is no way under the sun that I would say you could take any food and do that to it and it's going to be good for you. And yet it was marketed as vegetable oil. There's no vegetables in it. And it
Right.
was sold to us as heart healthy. What on
Right.
earth? And have we ever for one day improved heart attacks, cardiovascular disease, since these oils have been touted as the heart healthy choice? No. Heart disease is still the number one killer in America. No, it hasn't solved our problem. And now we've come full circle, and researchers and scientists and all sorts of people are starting to look at these oils and saying, here are all the studies saying they cause heart disease, they cause cancer, they cause diabetes, metabolic issues galore, skin issues like acne, eczema, psoriasis, mental things like Alzheimer's and dementia, emotional issues like depression and anxiety and even aggression. On it goes. And we have to get these oils out of our diet. Well, so what are the good oils? This is
Yeah.
what
What are the good oils? Let's hear them.
Yes, avocado and olive, of course, olive. Olive never went out of style. And
Right.
we know we want the extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil as well. It is an excellent oil. The liver likes to burn it, so every lady is going to like to hear this. It's a slimming oil. It
Oh.
is rich in MCTs, known as medium chain triglycerides. The liver likes to burn those. So it is known to be a slimming oil. And it's good for the liver. Also, olive oil is very good for the liver. And we want healing oils for the organs of our body. Olive oil is very good for the kidneys as well. And black seed oil is very good for the lungs, very, very healing for the lungs and very, very energizing. That you can't cook with. That is a
Right.
cold oil and can only be used cold. Like in your smoothie, take a tablespoon before bed, whatever you drizzle on a salad, whatever you want. And then flaxseed oil, your other cold oil. Never heat that. Always refrigerate those two. But flaxseed oil is very good for the brain, very good for the memory, excellent for the skin, good for the cardiovascular system. And then there are a few other fats and oils. Ghee is very good. It's clarified butter, also known as oil of butter. And sesame seed oil is still good, probably because we use it in such small amounts. They don't have big industrial processing for that sesame oil. And then macadamia nut oil and almond oil. Those are a little more expensive, a little harder to find, but they are good, and people do ask about them occasionally.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned sesame seed oil because as you were talking, that was going to be my next question because I often use sesame seed oil or toasted sesame seed oil when I cook like an Asian dish for my family. And because it's technically a seed, my question was going to be because is it the seed oil that's the issue or is it the refinement process of maybe the seed oil or the food that it's in that becomes a danger? So, because sometimes I wonder, is it the processing or is it the actual seed oils? But it sounds like it is the seed oils, but there are some like sesame seed oil is okay in small amounts, correct?
Yes, so it's a two-pronged issue, and it's
Okay.
both that are the problem. Uh, the sesame isn't processed like the others that I talked about because people
Okay.
use it in smaller amounts. It's usually when we're making an Asian dish that
Yeah.
we use a little bit of sesame seed oil. So it's more expeller pressed, which means lower heat, not all those chemicals. So it kind of escapes the horrible industrial processing of the other seeds. But
Right.
on to part two, it doesn't escape, but we use a small amount of it, so I'm not so worried about it. But
Okay.
part two of the whole scenario, excuse me, is that these oils are rich in omega-6 fatty acids, polyunsaturated fats,
Yeah.
linoleic acid. Yes, we need those. Yes, they are good for us. Are they good for us in the amount we're getting? Absolutely not. And that is creating inflammation. And why are we getting so much? Because everybody loves to use them. Food manufacturers love these seed oils because they're cheap. And they can pour them in all sorts of packaged goods, from chips and crackers and, excuse me, salad dressings and dips and mayonnaise. Fast food restaurants love them because they're cheap to fry things in, and they're shelf stable, and they can keep them in the deep fat fryers for days often. Yikes, that's
Crazy.
horrible. And then restaurants like them because they're cheap and they're shelf stable and they don't have flavor and they make your food taste and look juicy. Well, why not? So we're getting them from morning to night in baked goods, even plant-based milks. Many of them have them, like the oat milk or almond milk. It goes from morning to night, from breakfast to dinner. People are getting an overload of seed oils that are just used in everything. You start looking at packages. I shop with a magnifying glass. You'll see them all over the place. Vegetable oils are individually named. They're in so many things. Well, what does that do? It gives a great imbalance. We should be at a 4-to-1 maximum ratio, omega-6 to omega-3. Most people are at about a 20-to-1 ratio, way out of range, and we need to bring that back into range to about 4-to-1. How do we do that? Read labels and choose, again, snack foods and products that don't have them. So it's more encouraging now to shop than it's ever been. You can find bagged popcorn made with olive oil or avocado oil, and the same goes for chips. You can get those organic chips now with sea salt and avocado oil as one example, or olive oil. And dressings, salad dressings, just olive oil and vinegar and spices, avocado oil, mayonnaise. So start looking around, reading labels. Crackers, look for crackers without seed oils. Mary's Crackers is one brand that doesn't have the seed oils. And look for mayonnaise that doesn't have the seed oils in it. So, we can find them, and vote with your wallet, vote for your body, because here's why you want, ladies, listen up, why you want to get the seed oils out. They're hormone disruptors. They create inflammation in the body, and that creates a host of problems, but starting with menopausal symptoms, from those hot flashes and the headaches and the night sweats and just those nasty symptoms, not feeling yourself, feeling kind of brain fog. Well, we want to get the inflammatories out of our system so we can get those nasty symptoms out, gone, shove it out the door.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's, like you said, it's literally woven into everything that we put in our bodies. So unless we consciously look at labels and know what we're eating, it's everywhere. So which brings me to what you were mentioning sort of about like restaurants and eating out, right? Like we can do as good a job as possible with reading labels and what we're shopping and what we're getting at the grocery store or our local markets. But, when you go out to eat, which of course we all love to do, and I know I have, 4 adult children who are always eating out. And, I try to talk to them about eating healthy, and they know, but when they go out to eat, you are at the hands of whatever restaurant you're at or fast food chain. So are there certain fast food chains or restaurants that, I feel like now there's some that are saying we don't use seed oils. Are you aware of that? Or anyone that you can let us know about?
Oh, they're more all the time coming on board. So last year, Steak and Shake made a big splash in the news when they switched their seed oil to beef tallow to cook their fries. Now they've gone to 100% grass-fed beef and 100% butter from local farms. But there are many restaurants coming up. I just spoke in St. George, Utah at a health summit. There was a restaurant there called Aubergine, and they are seed oil free, and what fabulous food. It was some of the best food I've had in a long, long time. Bowls with all sorts of vegetables and some ancient grains and like a cashew jalapeno dressing to pour over. It's like, oh, I'm in seventh heaven. It was my way of eating, and no
Yeah.
seed oils. I was so encouraged in that restaurant because there were a lot of young people, and we were standing in line with this cute young couple behind us. And when they found out, my husband told them I was author of The Truth About Seed Oils. They were like so excited, and they were,
Aw.
gone seed oil free. Well, you can find more and more restaurants now, and I want to tell you about an app you can get for your phone. You can get a free trial. If you go to my website and to my landing page, The Truth About Seed Oils, or just go to juiceladyinfo.com, you'll get there. There's a link for Seed Oil Scout app, and you
Oh,
can
yes.
download that onto your phone.
Okay.
It will give you a little map of your area, and you'll see those little green bubbles all around where you live, and those are seed oil free restaurants. And frequent those as much as you can. We have
Yeah.
a bunch of them all around our house. I was so encouraged when I pulled it up on my phone. I saw the map, the app. It was like, wow, they're my favorite Italian restaurant. 3 minutes away.
So great.
No seed oils. So get that app and just start frequenting those restaurants. But here's the other thing I want to say. If you do your best, you're shopping wisely, you're cooking with good oils, but you're going out with friends and they want to go to this restaurant and it's not seed oil free,
Right.
go and enjoy.
Right.
Just
Right.
don't eat a deep fried thing there.
Exactly. And it's really what we do every day that matters. So if we're trying our best and trying to be clean, but I do think, especially for people that travel for work or, like I said, I have college students, like it's hard. They're trying to eat healthy, but unfortunately our food system and our fast food system and restaurants, it is hard. Even when you think you might be eating healthy, there are hidden seed oils, like you said, in dressings and sauces and things like that. So it's nice to have. I think that Seed Oil Scout app is wonderful and such a great suggestion, so that you can find and frequent all these restaurants that are, working to try to keep us eating as healthy as possible.
Yeah.
Tell me, okay, so what do you think is like a wellness trend in the area of nutrition that has like gone too far these days? Is there anything that you see that you're like have debunked, or you think something that has gone too far and you're just like, yeah, it's just too much media around it kind of thing?
Well, there is one that is concerning me, and it's the carnivore diet. There's a big trend heading there. And I say, I'm not against carnivore, but modify it. Get in
Yeah.
lots of vegetables. You need your vegetables. At the health conference I was at, I was hearing more rumblings from professionals saying more people are showing up now with a lot of gut issues because of just eating meat all the time and nothing else. That's
Yeah.
all some people eat, morning to night. If you're eating a lot of meat, you need a lot of vegetables. I like what RFK Jr. said. He's adding a lot of fermented vegetables. So
Yeah.
apparently sauerkraut is becoming a big in thing in DC. I'm all for that. The fermented vegetables, the
Yes.
kimchi, any fermented foods to go with that meat is going to really, really help your gut, your digestion. And if you can add some vegetables in with that, very important. A lot of people are doing that for weight maintenance, or people are doing it for other reasons, just to feel better, to get rid of some allergies. I'm all for, if you need to get rid of those grains, I'm fine with that, but you need your vegetables.
Veggies.
Don't
Yeah.
leave your vegetables out.
Yeah, we need all those phytonutrients. And do you think that the trend of the carnivore diet is getting so much hype because of the hype, all the hype around protein these
Yes.
days? Yeah.
Yes. We've
Yeah,
got
which we need to start hyping up fiber. We need
Yes.
we need fiber to get all the attention that it so deserves, like protein. I mean, again, I'm all for the protein, but I agree with you. Like fiber and phytonutrients. I mean, it is so important. It's just what
Yes.
is going to give us that diverse and beautiful microbiome that we all need in order to keep us all healthy.
Oh, absolutely. Microbiome is so extremely important.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we need the prebiotics, the probiotics, we need the fiber. There's a lot of prebiotics in vegetables. So, your juices are going to give you a lot of prebiotics. And we really need that to replenish that good gut flora. So many issues, so many problems that people suffer from don't realize it's stemming right back to the gut and
Yeah.
digestion. We are not only what we eat, we are what we digest. A lot of
Yes.
people are eating food and it's just going right through them, or they're like they say, the supplements, are going right through them and ending out in the trash, so the waste that
Yeah.
flushed
Right.
away. So it's what we break down, it's what we digest that is extremely, extremely important.
Yeah. What's actually going into our cells and impacting us.
Yes.
So tell me, if my listeners changed one thing after hearing this episode today, what would you want it to be?
Oh, wow, that's a hard one. Because I want you to stop eating seed oils as much as you can, and I want you to
Yeah.
start juicing. So maybe it's a two-part answer. Part
Two
A and
prong, two
B.
prong. That's
Two-pronged
fine.
answer.
Yeah.
Start juicing your vegetables because that's going to help your gut, brain, joints, pain, gone, energy, and then getting rid of those seed oils is going to make a huge improvement in how you feel. I call them the silent killers. We don't taste them, we don't see them, we don't think about them, and they're wreaking havoc on our bodies. And
I
so
know.
if you want life change, those two things would be life changing as I see it. I want to tell you a quick story.
Yes,
We
please.
had a lady that came to our juice and raw foods retreat, wellness retreat, and she had cardiovascular disease. She was hoping for some help and to feel better. It was 5 days, and she was feeling pretty well at the end of the 5 days. Went back to see her cardiologist, and he said, "Wow, what have you been doing? You are my model patient. I mean, you have moved from here to here." She was at a whole new level. And she told him, he said, "Keep doing what you're doing." That's what they always say. They don't say,
Yeah.
"I'm going to tell all my other patients about this." No, keep doing what you're
No.
doing. But I just heard from her recently. Oh, and I should tell you, it was seed oil free. Absolutely. We've never served seed oils at our retreats. And it was lots of vegetables, lots of juice, and a couple of days of juice fasting, vegetable juice fasting. So that was our retreat. She kept on the program, and I heard from her just recently. This was years later. She's 83 years old. Cute as she could be, her cardiovascular disease never came back. Hey, ladies.
Wow.
We
Yeah.
can do it.
And we should mention that cardiovascular disease is the number one killer of women.
It is.
It
Yes.
is.
And we want to prevent
So, yeah. And a lot of times we can by what we put in our bodies.
Absolutely. I think that's the number one thing. The other is stress, of course.
Yes,
My
of
husband's
course.
a psychotherapist, so we go back and forth, which is the worst. I
Oh
don't know.
yeah.
We're both bad. We're both right up there at the top, and we got to control
Exactly.
that stress too, and
Yeah,
what we
yeah.
think and how we react to things.
Yeah.
I'm a bad reactor a lot of times, get all tense.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, Cherie, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I'm really excited because I'm going to get a new juicer. I'm starting my juicing journey. You have encouraged me to do it. It has been years in the making, and I'm pulling the trigger, and I'm going to do it. And it's summer. I think it's a perfect time to start juicing right now because there's all these fresh vegetables, and of course we can add some fruits in. And I love the idea about adding some herbs in because we can't forget about all the fresh herbs that give us so much nutrients. I've been cooking with herbs now for years. Fresh herbs, it adds so much not only to the dish, but it adds so much to our bodies. So I'm excited. So thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge with us. And I will be sure that we link in the show notes your website, which is juicelady.com.
Juice Lady Info. Don't forget the
Juice-
info. INFO, juiceladyinfo.com. Or you can get to my landing page, thetruthaboutseedoils.com.
Okay,
And follow
great.
me on Instagram at Juice Lady Cherie, Cherie. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, all the same. Got new reels
Love it.
coming out all the time, ideas, tips. Come follow.
Love it. Absolutely. Well, we will be sure to link all of that information in the show notes. And I just want to thank you so much for sharing today. This is all such great, fun information and that we can really enjoy as we move forward in our phase of life, eating healthy and drinking our juice.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be on your show. It was fun. I wish everybody wonderful health this summer.
Thank you. Thank you. And guys, thank you so much for listening. I want to remind you to check out suburbanwarriorpodcast.com. We have so many free resources there available to you. And we'll be back next week with another amazing Suburban Warrior here to share her story with you. Until then, have a great week, guys, and try some juices. See ya.